And if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to my channel. And this pattern is quite beginner friendly, and you can use this sweater with any of the crochet stitches you would like to. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. In today's tutorial, we are going to see how to make a simple sweater pattern with just two rectangles. The length of the rectangle is going to be the measurement from your shoulder till your waist, or if you want it to be a crop top, you can measure accordingly and multiply by 2. That is going to be the length of this rectangle, each of these rectangles, and the breadth is going to be your bust size divided by 4. For example, if your bust size is 36 inches, then divided by 4, that gives 9 inches. So the breadth of the rectangle is going to be 9 inches. Now let's see what are the materials I have used for this project. I have used the Karen Cloud Cakes. This is a combination of four colors basically, and I have picked the darker shade. There are multiple other colors available in this brand. So this thread is about 240 grams, which is 8.5 ounce, and the recommended hook size for this thread is 4.5 mm, but I'm gonna use a little bit bigger size. Let's say 5 mm crochet hook I'm gonna use for this project. So let us get started. Begin by making a slip knot. And continue to make chains and multiples of 4. So the pattern I'm going to use is kind of a flowery pattern. It is of small flowers. It may not be clearly seen with this multicolor yarn, but if you're gonna use this pattern with a single color, then it will be very clearly seen. It looks really beautiful. So instead of making that full length pattern, I'm gonna show you with sample number of chains, so that you can follow the same thing to make the bigger rectangle for this sweater. So I have made 20 chains and plus 3 chains, which will be considered as the turning DC. Now make a DC into the fourth chain from the hook and continue to make one DC in each of the stitches across till the end of this chain stitches. So there should be a total of 20 DC stitches. So 20 is a multiple of 4 and plus 3. So if you are making for a full length sweater pattern, you may consider doing 160 chains plus 3, or 184 chains plus 3. So kind of it should be a multiple of 4 for this pattern. So that's how the DC stitches look in the very first row. Okay, now for the next row, chain 3, So this chain 3 is considered as the very first DC for the next row. Then flip. You can skip the very first DC and then continue making one DC from the next DC stitch. So this row is the same as the previous row, which is one DC in each of the stitches. So there should be a total of 20 DC stitches, which includes the first 3 chains as one of the DCs. So make sure to make one DC on top of the third chain from the previous row, which is the turning chain. So you have to make one DC into that turning chain. So we have completed 2 rows here. Again for the next row, make 3 chains and turn the work. Now skip the first DC and skip the next DC as well, and into the third DC make one DC stitch, chain 1, and another DC stitch into the same space, same DC stitch. So this forms a V pattern here, and skip the next stitch. That stitch need to be skipped, and into the second stitch make one DC. So this is the pattern we need to follow. So you have to skip one DC stitch and then make a DC, chain 1 and DC into the same stitch to form this V pattern. And now make one DC into the second stitch. You have to skip one stitch and make DC into the next stitch. And now skip one DC stitch and make this V pattern, which is DC, chain 1 and DC into the next stitch. So go ahead and repeat this pattern to complete row number 3. So end the row with a DC stitch into the third chain. So the third chain of the previous round. So we usually make chain 3, right? Into that we have to make the last DC. And for row number 4, make chain 3, flip, and make one DC into the very first DC stitch, and make a DC into the V pattern. And now skip the next DC stitch and make a V pattern into the consecutive DC, that is 1 DC, chain 1 and 1 DC. This gives a V pattern. And make 1 DC into the next V pattern. So now we have to skip the next DC and make 1 V pattern into the second DC. Yes, that is the second DC, and make a V pattern, which is DC, chain 1 and DC. So we have to repeat this pattern across. End this row by making a DC stitch into the third chain. So with this we have completed row 4. For row number 5, start by making chain 3 and then flip. So skip the very first DC and make DC in the next DC stitch. So remember, chain 3 is always considered as 1 DC in this pattern. So make another DC in the next stitch. Make 1 DC into the next stitch. And make 1 DC into the V space from the previous row. So this is the V space and we made 1 DC into it. So now we have to make 1 DC in each of the next 3 stitches. This is the first DC and then second DC. Then we have the third DC. So once you complete 3 DCs, right, we will have the V pattern, that is that V stitch. So make 1 DC into that V stitch. This is a V stitch. Make 1 DC into that V stitch. Then we have to make 1 DC in each of the next 3 stitches, followed by the V pattern. So wherever we have V, make 1 DC into that V. So follow this pattern for this row number 5. End the pattern by making a DC stitch into the third chain, which is a turning chain of the previous round. For row number 6, make chain 3, which is our turning chain, and also the very first DC of this row. Um, we have to make one DC in each of the DC stitches from previous round. So continue making this for the center row, and we will see how this pattern looks like. So complete this row by making a DC into the third chain, which is our turning chain in the previous round. So you can clearly see we have like 6 rows in total. The first 2 rows are DC stitches, and the next 2 rows are the zigzag flower pattern, the V, alternate V pattern, which will give us a flowery look, followed by 2 DC stitches. Followed by 2 rows of DC stitches. So we are going to repeat this pattern for our 2 rectangles, and let me show you how it looks like. So these are the 2 rectangles, the completed ones for my body measurements. So I have used a single strand of yarn, which is that Karen cake yarn, and that gave me like multiple color options in the same bundle. So you can use 2 colors or multicolors or just one color. And let's quickly check the measurement. So the width of each rectangle measures about 10 inches. I wanted it to be a little loose, so I made a 1 inch loose for my size, and the length was measuring about 41 inches. So now let's assemble this to stitch together. There is no right or wrong side in this pattern. You can use either ways because it is used interchangeably, unless you are specific about this color. Like I wanted the blue one to be on my shoulder, so I have just kept it that way. So you can use the other way also. So I have marked the length of my neck region to be about 7 inches using a stitch marker, and I'm gonna stitch from the bottom, from the base of the sweater till that 7-inch length. Let us see how to stitch that using a tapestry needle. So for one of the rectangles I have not cut the yarn, so I'm just going to use that yarn. So this is the place where I have marked the neck region. For the front side it is 7 inches, and for the back side it is 6 inches. So now let's see how to stitch the two rectangles together. First I'm gonna make a knot by bringing in the two edges together and then inserting the needle through the thread itself to make the knot and secure the knot tightly. I'm going to repeat it one more time. And now for the front For the very first rectangle, insert the needle into the back loop of the first chain and then into the front loop of the corresponding first chain from the second rectangle and pull through the yarn. Again repeat the same pattern into the next chain of the first rectangle. We have to insert through the back loop and then the front loop of the corresponding chain from the second rectangle. So repeat this pattern throughout till the stitch marker, which is our next region. So there are many other ways to join these two rectangles together, to stitch any crochet pattern together. So you may follow your own way of doing it. There is no right or wrong in it. Some people may use the crochet hook itself to stitch these two rectangles together. So it's up to you. So now I have completed all the stitches till the neck region. I'm gonna make a knot into the last chain stitch and then cut the yarn. Use the crochet hook to weave in the loose ends. And that's how our finished stitch looks like. So we are going to repeat the same steps for the other side of the neck as well as the side portion, which is till your armhole. So you can keep it little loose. I have kept about 7.5 inches for the armhole. So you can customize it as per your needs. So this is how the finished pattern looks like, and I'm gonna add some edging pattern to my sleeves. So let us see how to do that. So this is completely optional. I prefer it to have some sort of designs on my sleeves. So let us see how to do that. So start by inserting the hook near the armhole into any of the stitches. Make a slip knot or the chain one to secure the thread. And make one single crochet into the same stitch and continue to make one single crochet into each of the next three stitches. Then make chain 3 and make one slip stitch into the third chain from the hook and make one essay into the next stitch. So now make one essay in each of the next three stitches. and make chain 3. Make a slip stitch into the third chain from the hook and make 1 SC into the next stitch. So this is the pattern you have to follow and complete this entire armhole region. You can increase the number of SC stitches between each of the chain 3 loops. So you can finish this edging by making a slip stitch into the last stitch. Chain 1, pull up the loop, and cut the yarn. Now weave in the loose ends as I have shown before. And with this, the sweater pattern is complete. I hope you like this tutorial, and the pattern is also quite easy to follow. It is not a beginner friendly, but an advanced beginner can try this pattern. If you really like this video, please give a thumbs up to this video, and if you would want to see such videos in the future, please give a thumbs up. Thank you for watching.